is Valerian? Well, the quick answer is that he is a spatio-temporal agent for a future human government known as the Galaxidy. Basically, he's what you would get if James Bond and Doctor Who had a baby. He flies around in time and space, often ending up on 20th century Earth for various reasons, and solves whatever needs solving. The long answer starts the same way, but it's also got a lot more stuff at the end that I hope you'll find interesting, so you should probably stick around. I should take a moment right here and say that you can't really talk about Valerian without talking about his partner, Laureline. Unlike Valerian, who is from the far future, Laureline is from the past. She was originally a peasant in 11th century France who saves Valerian and finds out he's a time traveler from the future. He ends up bringing her with him back to the future, and she is trained to become a spatio-temporal agent just like him. In the earlier comics, Laureline is pretty much a plot device, a newcomer completely unfamiliar with the world of tomorrow, so Valerian can explain everything to her, and by extension to us, the reader. Towards the end of the run, she is generally considered to be the main hero of the story, often being far more instrumental in driving the plot and saving the day than Valerian. Valerian first appeared in comics created by Pierre Christian and Jean-Claude Mézières. You know what? I'm just going to stop right here and let you know that I cannot pronounce French names, and I sincerely apologize to any French speakers who are listening to me right now. I do not mean to belittle your culture and tongue. I just can't speak it. Anyways, they were created by these guys way back in November of 1967 and kept appearing in them right up until January of 2010. So, if this guy has been starring in comics being published for 43 years, why haven't you heard of him? The answer to that question is another question. Parlez-vous français? If you have no idea what I just said, that answers the question. See, Valerian comics were written in Belgium for French-speaking readers. So, if like Corbin Dallas and myself, you only speak two languages, English and bad English, then you probably have never seen a Valerian comic. If you're a nerd from one of the French-speaking regions of Europe, then this guy is a big deal. See, there's a pretty extensive and rich history of comics from France and Belgium that a lot of North American readers know nothing about. The cornerstones of this tradition are comics like Tintin, The Smurfs, Asterix and Obelix, and Lucky Luke. Anyone familiar with these comics will know they feature an art and writing style very different from American comics. So if you track down some Valerian and Laureline comics to read, be prepared for something very different than you're used to. The art has much simpler lines than most American comics and can appear somewhat cartoony, but the stories are often much more mature, touching on all kinds of themes involving politics, religion, love, loss, life, etc. To be honest, I've only ever read a few volumes of Valerian and Laureline because only a few volumes have ever been translated to English. But if you're interested in the European comic tradition, these are a must-read and have been hugely influential on the other side of the Atlantic.
You just look at the pictures anyway. What do you care?
There is also a French-language animated series called Time Jam, Valerian and Laureline.
Ooh, Time Jam.
Yes, not to be confused with
Space Jam.
Space Jam. Time Jam, Valerian and Laureline, that aired in France for 40 episodes in 2007-2008, and which can be found dubbed over in English. The series roughly follows the plot of the comic in the later volumes where the Earth has disappeared from time, and they seem to be the only two humans left in the galaxy. With no government left to work for, they become mercenaries for hire, working to make a living while trying to figure out what happened to their home planet. Valerian and Laureline will be appearing on the big screen in 2017 in the Luc Besson movie Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets. You may remember Luc Besson as the man who brought you The Fifth Element. In fact, Luc is such a fan of the Valerian comics that he hired the series artist, Jean-Claude Mézières, to do all of the conceptual design for the film The Fifth Element, giving it a look very much like the Valerian comics that he loves. The film will star Dane DeHaan as Valerian and Cara Delevingne
from Suicide Squad.
Yes, who played the Enchantress in Suicide Squad. And as a fan of Luc Besson and fantastical science fiction in general, I could not be more excited. Who? Paul? Less so, but he doesn't like fun. We hope you enjoyed this rundown of who is Valerian. We know we didn't go into super detail, but it gave you a rough overview. If you are interested, by all means, track down some volumes of the English translated stories and learn more.
You can't say it was better in the comics if you don't know what happened in the comics. Any characters you'd like to see us cover? Let us know in the comments. And be sure to subscribe to the Fractal channel to get all the backgrounds and origins from characters for all the upcoming DC and Marvel movies and series.